Hello everyone and welcome to the Young and the Restless channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless recap for Thursday, March 12th reveals that Sienna Bacall will have a bad feeling about Nick Newman's drug use while Adam Newman takes a big risk. At Society, Sienna will mention something about ordering empanadas before Noah Newman gets a disturbing message. Matt Clark will keep texting from an unknown number and urge Noah to save an empanada for him. That'll leave Noah paranoid over Matt being in the area, but then Matt will start texting like maybe he's at the athletic club, coffee house, or Newman grounds instead. Noah will realize Matt's messing with them and assume he's doing it from afar. Sienna and Noah's meal together will also include a conversation about Nick, since he's seemed off lately to Sienna. Although Sienna will acknowledge that she doesn't know Nick very well, she's familiar with the warning signs of someone having a drug problem. Sienna will see those signs in Nick and eventually admit her brother died of a drug overdose. Since Sienna wished someone would have warned her about her brother's issues sooner, she'll feel obligated to say something to Noah now. Noah will appreciate Sienna looking out for his dad, but he'll feel like Nick wouldn't go down that road because he's seen Nicky Newman's alcoholism. Noah will also point out that he hasn't seen Nick taking painkillers lately. Since Nick is the family rock that they all lean on, Noah will think his dad's got it covered like he always does. At Crimson Lights, Nick will sneak a pill from his fentanyl bag and look up to find Adam standing there. Adam will acknowledge that Nick seems jumpy, but Nick will blame it on the Matt situation. After Adam admits he remembered Reza Thompson's address, he'll insist she didn't like change and is probably still at the same place. Nick will want to go there alone, but Adam won't think Reza will talk to anyone except him. Although Nick will worry about stirring up drama for Adam by forcing him to revisit his past, Adam will want to step up for his brother. When Nick continues to drag his feet, Adam will feel like Nick is either a martyr or stupid for not accepting his help. Sharon Newman will eventually walk over and weigh in. Despite understanding Nick's concerns, Sharon will think Adam's making some good points when it comes to his Reza link and the fact that Nick shouldn't go alone. After Nick asks Adam if he's sure he's up for this, Adam will reply that he 100% is. Once Adam exits the coffee house, Sharon will quiz Nick as the fentanyl clearly starts to kick in. Once Nick reiterates his worries regarding Adam, he'll ultimately pull Sharon into a hug and assure her that the Matt drama will be over soon. Back with Adam, he'll speak with Chelsea Lawson at home and admit he met with Nick since he recalled Reza's address. When Chelsea learns Adam wants to head to Vegas with Nick, she'll worry about him becoming Spider again. Chelsea won't want to lose the changed Adam she's come to love, but Adam will promise that she won't. Next on Thursday's Y&R episode, Victoria Newman will arrive at the Newman Ranch and learn from Nicky that Victor Newman kidnapped Jack Abbott as leverage. Although Victoria won't condone what Victor did, she'll understand why her dad would go to extremes and truly won't believe Victor would hurt Jack. Nicky will remain on edge over the abduction news and will leave plenty of messages for Victor, but he won't get back to her or come home yet. As for Victoria, she'll emphasize the need for multiple plans and will be determined to use Phyllis Summers' kids against her. That's why Victoria will insist on catching the first flight out to Milan and paying Summer Newman a visit. The Young and the Restless spoilers say there's much more Newman mayhem to come, so stay tuned. The tension simmering beneath the surface of Genoa City begins quietly, almost deceptively so, as the evening unfolds inside the warm and stylish atmosphere of Society. Sitting across from one another, Sienna Bacall and Noah Newman attempt to enjoy what should have been a relaxed meal together, a simple moment of calm in the middle of the city's endless storms of drama. Sienna casually brings up the idea of ordering empanadas. The suggestion light and playful at first, but the mood shifts almost instantly when Noah's phone buzzes with a message that sends a chill through him. The text comes from an unknown number, yet the tone is unmistakable. Matt Clark. The message taunts Noah, urging him to save an empanada for him, as though Matt might appear at any moment, watching from the shadows. A wave of paranoia creeps over Noah as the realization settles in that Matt might actually be nearby, lurking somewhere just out of sight. And as if feeding that fear deliberately, more texts arrive moments later, suggesting Matt might be at the athletic club, or perhaps the coffee house, or even somewhere on the Newman grounds, each message twisting the knife of uncertainty a little deeper. For a brief moment, the possibility that Matt is physically close enough to observe them rattles Noah to his core. But as the messages continue in a mocking rhythm, the truth slowly dawns on him. Matt isn't nearby at all. He's simply playing games, manipulating their fear from a distance and enjoying every second of it. Noah exhales with frustration, realizing he's being psychologically toyed with, yet the tension lingers like a storm cloud that refuses to move on. As their meal resumes, the conversation gradually shifts away from Matt and drifts toward a more personal subject, one that has been quietly bothering Sienna. She hesitates at first, choosing her words carefully, but eventually she admits something has felt wrong lately whenever she's around Nick Newman. Though she acknowledges she doesn't know Nick particularly well, there are subtle warning signs she recognizes instantly. Small behavioral shifts, nervous energy, the kind of unease that people try desperately to hide. Sienna's voice grows softer, heavier with emotion as she confesses the painful truth behind her instincts. She knows these signs because she's seen them before. Her brother once walked the same dangerous path, and by the time anyone realized what was happening, it was already too late. The memory still haunts her, the unbearable loss of someone she loved to a drug overdose, and the regret that no one stepped in soon enough to stop the tragedy from unfolding. That painful memory is precisely why Sienna feels compelled to speak now. She explains to Noah that if someone had warned her family earlier about her brother's struggles, maybe things could have turned out differently. That lingering what if is something she carries with her every day, and it's the reason she refuses to stay silent now. Noah listens carefully, moved by her honesty and clearly grateful that she cares enough to raise the concern. Yet, despite appreciating her intentions, he simply cannot imagine his father falling into that kind of darkness. Nick, in Noah's eyes, has always been the family's rock, the steady presence everyone leans on when life begins to unravel. He points out that their family has already witnessed the devastating impact of addiction through Nicky Newman's past struggles with alcoholism, and because of that, Nick would never allow himself to fall into the same trap. Besides, Noah adds with quiet confidence, he hasn't seen his father taking painkillers recently. In Noah's mind, Nick has always handled life's pressures with strength and resilience, and surely this time will be no different. But across town, at the cozy glow of crimson lights, reality paints a far more troubling picture. Alone with his thoughts, Nick discreetly slips a pill from a small fentanyl bag, his movements careful and secretive as he quickly swallows it before anyone can notice. The moment is brief, but the guilt and tension linger in his expression as he lifts his gaze, only to freeze when he realizes someone has been watching. Standing nearby is Adam Newman, his brother observing him with a sharp, suspicious eye. Adam casually remarks that Nick seems jumpy, clearly noticing something off about his behavior. Nick brushes it aside quickly, attributing his nerves to the ongoing chaos surrounding Matt. But Adam isn't entirely convinced. Instead, he shifts the conversation towards something more pressing, an important detail that suddenly resurfaced in his memory. Adam explains that he remembered the address of Riza Thompson, a woman from his complicated past, and he believes she might still be living at the same place because she never liked change. Nick immediately wants to chase the lead himself, determined to confront Riza alone, but Adam firmly pushes back. He argues that Riza would never open up to a stranger, yet she might speak to him given their shared history. Nick hesitates, worried that asking Adam to revisit such painful memories might drag him back into a darker version of himself. He fought hard to escape, but Adam refuses to step aside, insisting that this is exactly the moment he should stand by his brother's side. When Nick continues to hesitate, Adam bluntly calls him out, suggesting he's either playing the martyr or acting foolish by refusing help. The tension between them builds until another familiar voice joins the conversation. Sharon Newman, who approaches just in time to weigh in. Sharon understands Nick's concerns about reopening old wounds for Adam, yet she can't ignore the logic behind Adam's argument. If Reza truly has the information they need, and if Adam is the only one she might trust, then going together may be their best chance. Nick studies his brother carefully, searching his face for any sign of doubt before finally asking if Adam is truly ready for this. Adam's answer comes without hesitation. He's 100% ready. With that promise hanging in the air, Adam heads out of the coffee house to begin making preparations, leaving Nick alone with Sharon. Almost immediately, Sharon begins questioning him, sensing something deeper beneath his anxious energy. As the fentanyl slowly begins to take hold in his system, Nick grows slightly unsteady, though he does his best to hide it behind calm reassurance. He reiterates his concerns about Adam potentially reopening old emotional scars, but Sharon can tell something else is weighing on him as well. Still, before the moment can grow too heavy, Nick pulls her into a warm, reassuring hug, promising that the entire Matt situation will soon be behind them. His words are confident, hopeful even, but the uneasiness in the air suggests that the storm is far from over. Meanwhile, Adam's own journey takes him back home, where he sits down with Chelsea Lawson and explains everything that just happened. He tells her about reconnecting with Nick and remembering Reza's address and how that memory could lead them closer to the truth. But when Adam reveals the next step of their plan to travel to Las Vegas with Nick, Chelsea's concern immediately intensifies. The idea of Adam returning to the environment where his old identity once thrived terrifies her, especially the dark persona he once embraced, known as Spider. Chelsea fears that stepping back into that world could awaken the part of Adam she believed was gone forever. She confesses that she's finally fallen in love with the man Adam has become, the man who fought so hard to change. Adam listens to her fears carefully, understanding the weight behind every word, and gently promises that the person she loves isn't going anywhere. Elsewhere, the Newman family faces its own shocking revelation as Victoria Newman arrives at the Newman ranch, only to hear stunning news from her mother. Nikki reveals that Victor Newman has taken matters into his own hands in the most extreme way possible by kidnapping Jack Abbott. The abduction was meant as leverage, a ruthless move designed to gain the upper hand in a dangerous game. Victoria is clearly disturbed by the tactic, refusing to fully condone what her father has done. Yet at the same time, she understands the mindset that drove Victor to such an extreme decision. In her heart, she simply cannot believe her father would ever truly harm Jack, no matter how intense their rivalry may be. Nikki, however, finds it impossible to share that confidence. The weight of the situation leaves her deeply unsettled, and she repeatedly calls Victor, leaving message after message in desperate hopes that he will respond. But the silence on the other end of the line only makes the anxiety grow stronger, especially as Victor fails to return home. Victoria, ever the strategist, shifts the focus toward preparing multiple plans to deal with whatever comes next. She believes the key to gaining leverage lies with Phyllis Summers, and more specifically with the people Phyllis loves most. Determined to move quickly, Victoria announces that she intends to catch the very first flight to Milan. Her goal is clear and unapologetic. She plans to confront Summer Newman in person and use that connection to apply pressure where it hurts the most. As the web of schemes, secrets, and emotional battles tightens around the Newman family, one thing becomes certain: the chaos has only just begun, and far more Newman mayhem is still waiting to explode. As the night deepens across Genoa City, the tension woven through each corner of the Newman family's world grows thicker, heavier, and far more dangerous than anyone realizes. At the Newman ranch, the quiet halls feel unusually cold as Nikki Newman paces anxiously, her thoughts racing faster with every unanswered call she leaves for Victor Newman. The reality of what Victor has done, kidnapping Jack Abbott, hangs in the air like a dark cloud threatening to unleash a storm. Nikki knows her husband better than anyone, and while she understands the ruthless instincts that have defined Victor's power for decades, this situation feels different, more volatile, more unpredictable. Every minute that passes without hearing from him deepens the knot of fear tightening in her chest. She tries to convince herself that Victor is simply executing another one of his calculated strategies, another power play meant to protect the family and maintain control. Yet somewhere deep inside, a quieter voice whispers a chilling question she cannot silence. What if this time things spiral beyond Victor's control? Standing nearby, Victoria Newman watches her mother struggle with that fear, but Victoria's mind is already racing toward solutions. Unlike Nikki, she channels the shock of the situation into cold, strategic focus, analyzing every possible angle like a chess player studying the board before making the next move. Victoria doesn't approve of Victor's methods, and she makes that clear, but she also understands something fundamental about her father. He always believes the ends justify the means. In her eyes, Victor's actions, however extreme, are rooted in his fierce instinct to protect the Newman Empire and everyone within it. Still, Victoria knows that relying on Victor alone would be reckless, and she refuses to sit back and hope everything resolves itself. The situation demands preparation, backup plans, and leverage, and Victoria intends to secure all three. That determination hardens in her expression as she begins outlining her next step, a move that could shift the balance of power dramatically. Her focus turns directly toward Phyllis Summers, a woman whose history with the Newmans is filled with betrayal, rivalry, and emotional warfare. Victoria believes the most effective way to pressure Phyllis is not through direct confrontation, but through the people she cares about most. That realization leads Victoria to one specific target, Summer Newman. Without hesitation, Victoria announces that she plans to leave Genoa City immediately and catch the first flight to Milan, where Summer is currently living. The decision is swift, calculated, and undeniably ruthless, but in Victoria's mind it is simply another necessary move in a high-stakes game that refuses to slow down. Nikki listens quietly as her daughter explains the plan, her expression reflecting the complicated mixture of pride and concern that always follows Victoria's bold decisions. There is no doubt that Victoria inherited Victor's strategic mind, yet seeing that same relentless drive in her daughter reminds Nikki just how easily power can blur the line between right and wrong. Still, with Victor unreachable and Jack's fate uncertain, Nikki knows the family cannot afford hesitation now. Meanwhile, across town, a very different battle is quietly unfolding within Nick Newman himself. Back at Crimson Lights, the warmth of the cafe lights contrasts sharply with the turmoil hidden behind Nick's calm exterior. The fentanyl coursing through his system begins to dull the sharp edges of his anxiety, creating a fragile sense of relief that is both comforting and deeply dangerous. To anyone watching, Nick appears steady enough, composed even, but beneath that surface his thoughts feel slower, heavier, like waves pulling him deeper into unfamiliar waters. When Sharon Newman studies him carefully, her instincts tell her something isn't quite right. She has known Nick for most of her life, and she can sense the subtle shifts in his energy, the restless tension, the guarded expressions, the way he seems to drift in and out of focus. Still, Nick manages to reassure her with quiet confidence, insisting that everything will soon be resolved once they track down the answers they need. Nick's determination centers on the same looming threat that has been haunting the Newman family, Matt Clark. The mysterious messages, the psychological games, and the growing fear that Matt is orchestrating something far more dangerous have pushed Nick to his limits. He clings to the belief that confronting the truth head-on will finally end the chaos. That belief is exactly why he agreed to move forward with Adam Newman's plan to track down Risa Thompson, the woman who might hold the key to understanding Matt's motives. For Nick, the plan represents hope, an opportunity to regain control of a situation that has spiraled dangerously close to the edge. Yet Sharon watches him with quiet concern, sensing that Nick's confidence may be masking something deeper and more troubling. When he finally pulls her into another reassuring hug, promising that the nightmare will soon be over, Sharon wants desperately to believe him. But as she watches him leave, a lingering unease settles in her heart, the kind that suggests the truth may be far more complicated than anyone expects. At the same time, another emotional confrontation unfolds in Adam's home, where Chelsea Lawson struggles to process what Adam's decision could mean for their future. Adam explains his conversation with Nick and the sudden memory of Riz's address, emphasizing how important it could be in unraveling Matt's dangerous scheme. Yet when Adam reveals that he plans to travel to Las Vegas with Nick, Chelsea's reaction is immediate and deeply emotional. The word Vegas alone carries painful echoes from Adam's past, reminding her of the shadowy identity he once embraced, the man known as Spider. That version of Adam thrived in the chaos and deception of that world, and Chelsea fears that stepping back into that environment could awaken the darker instincts he fought so hard to leave behind. She looks at him not with anger but with fear, the fear of losing the man she has grown to love. Adam listens carefully as Chelsea shares those fears, her voice trembling with the vulnerability of someone who has already lost too much in life.